We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Subject is internal combustion engine and topic is fuel supply system of spark ignition engine. Okay, basically in fuel supply system of SI engine means spark ignition engine, the air and fuel mixture is ignite into the combustion chamber. So air and fuel mixture directly supplied to the combustion chamber, but it is prepared in one device that is called carburetor before it goes to the combustion chamber. So main purpose of the carburetor is to prepare the mixture of air and fuel outside the engine. So here you can see the figure of the simple carburetor. Simple carburetor consists different components like float chamber, venturi tube, throttle valve, choke valve, fuel nozzle, and there is one intake manifold. Intake manifold is connected to the combustion chamber. So here in float chamber, the level of fuel is always maintained constant. And how it maintained constant? So to maintain the fuel level constant, there is a one float. You can see there is a one float, and there is a one needle valve which is connected to the fuel tank line. Okay, so whenever the fuel level decreases, means float will move down. So needle valve will also move down. So this passage will be open and fuel enter from the fuel tank to the float chamber. And again, when the fuel level increases, one stage is come when the fuel level is maintained constant. That means the float and needle valve will close this line and the fuel supply will stop. So now simple carburetor, how it works. So when during the suction stroke, means first stroke, the piston move from TDC to BDC over here. When piston moves from TDC to BDC, the vacuum is created inside the combustion chamber. So this vacuum, right, this vacuum is also present in this intake manifold and venturi. So here pressure is below the atmospheric pressure, that means vacuum pressure, and outside this venturi tube there is a atmospheric pressure. So atmospheric pressure and vacuum pressure. So there is a pressure difference creates, right? So air enters from the atmosphere to the venturi tube and it goes to the venturi throat area. Here the reduced cross section area. Here the reduced cross section area, that is venturi throat. So when air moves through this area, the velocity will be increased and pressure will be decreased. So again pressure drops take place here, venturi throat, right? So again here the pressure is below the atmospheric pressure and float chamber is open to atmosphere. You can see here, right? So again pressure difference will be created, right? So now due to pressure difference, the fuel is supplied from the float chamber to the fuel nozzle and it is injected to the this area, venturi throat area. So air is coming from the top and fuel is injected in venturi throat area. So it will be mixed in this area, right? And then after it goes to the combustion chamber through the intake manifold and throttle valve. Okay, so basically the function of the throttle valve is to control the amount of fuel and air that is supplied to the combustion chamber. Right, it will control the mixture supply, right, according to condition of the engine. Right, there are different condition of the engine: starting condition, normal working condition, sudden acceleration, slow speed, idling condition. Right, according to that condition, the amount of fuel and air that is controlled by the throttle valve. Again, here there is another valve, that is choke valve. The purpose of the choke valve is during the starting condition. Right, starting condition, there is a rich mixture is required. So during the starting condition, choke valve is partly open. So limited air is entered and fuel is supplied more. Right, so rich mixture is available. Rich mixture means what? The fuel quantity is more compared to air. It is called rich mixture. Right. Again, during the normal running condition, choke valve will open fully. So more amount of air is supplied and less amount of fuel is supplied. So lean mixture is available. Right. Lean means what? Air quantity is more than fuel quantity. Right. That is the lean mixture. Okay. So that is how the simple carburetor works. Okay. Oh, again, this carburetor is the basic. This carburetor is the basic concept, right? So there are some limitations of the simple carburetor, like during starting condition, idling condition, slow speed, sudden acceleration, rich mixture is available. But these type of simple carburetor only supplied the stoichiometric mixture, means constant air fuel ratio is supplied by the simple carburetor. So at different condition of the engine, the different air fuel ratio is required, but the simple carburetor cannot supply it. Right? So some of the modification can be done on the simple carburetor. So nowadays, the modern carburetor are used to avoid the limitations of the simple carburetor. Okay, now next is the modern carburetor. So in modern carburetor, there are different additionals components are added to the simple carburetor. So first one that is the Solex carburetor. In Solex carburetor, there are different devices are attached to the simple carburetor. Right. This is the Venturi. Okay, there is a Venturi tube, a Venturi throat. This one, and one primary nozzle is connected to the float chamber. And again here there is a one additional arrangement, that is the acceleration pedal. We can say acceleration pump. Right, acceleration pump is connected to the acceleration jet. Next, during the starting, by starter is required here. Right, same as for slow speed and idling, there is a additional port is provided, that is for slow speed and idle speed. So during the starting period, rich mixture is required. Fuel quantity is more required than air. So during starting period, by-starter disc is used. By-starter disc is having different holes of different diameter. So during the starting period, the starting pedal is pulled. So the larger diameter of the hole, right? The larger diameter hole is set to the this passage line. So more amount of fuel enter from the float chamber to the this section, and this larger additional amount of fuel is supplied to the starting jet below the throttle valve. So fuel quantity is more and air is less, so rich mixture is supplied during the starting period. When engine warms up, this starting pedal is again relieved. So the smaller hole is set to this line. So less amount of fuel is entered, right? So rich mixture cannot supply it. Now next condition, that is the slow speed and idling condition. So idling condition means what? Engine is running condition, but vehicle is not moving. That is called idling condition. So again, idling condition, rich mixture is required, and that can be supplied with the help of idle port. Idle port is connected to the main line, main fuel line. There is a additional line is, that is the idle line, and another idle line is connected with the slow speed line. So during the idling condition, the throttle valve is partly open. So at that time, vacuum is created in this area, less area, right? So due to pressure difference, the fuel supply from this idle port, additional fuel is supplied with the help of idle port, right? When the engine speed increases, right, then the fuel supplied through this slow speed area, right? Slow speed jet, we can say. Now next, if engine is running normally, then it is supplied, fuel is supplied same manner as that of the simple carburetor from this main nozzle. And again, during the sudden acceleration, rich mixture is required, so that can be supplied with this additional arrangement that is called acceleration pedal, that is connected with the accelerating pump, right? So that is how the Solex carburetor works. Okay, next, that is the Carter carburetor. The arrangement of the Carter carburetor the same as that of the Solex, right? So here you can see accelerating pedal, right? There is a Venturi throttle. Okay, the basic difference in the Carter and Solex is that in Carter carburetor there are three stage Venturis are provided. This one is the primary Venturi, this is the secondary Venturi, and this one is the third Venturi. So three stage Venturi is provided. The purpose of the three stage Venturi is that for better atomization and better mixture of the air and fuel take place, right? So other remaining function of the Carter carburetor is same as that of the Solex carburetor. Let us see how Carter carburetor works. So as I told that its working is similar to Solex carburetor. So let's say different condition first of all. So different condition of IC engine are like starting condition, sudden acceleration, idling, slow speed, and normal working condition. So during the starting condition, the working of Carter carburetor is same as simple carburetor. Here there is a choke valve. It is not shown over here, but here there is a choke valve. So during starting condition, choke valve is partly open, or we can say choke valve is nearly closed. So limited area is available to flow the air. So quantity of the air supplied is less, and quantity of the fuel supply is more from this main fuel nozzle, right? So during starting condition, so rich mixture is available, and that can be supplied to the engine. Now next condition, that is the normal working condition. So during normal working condition, the choke valve is fully open, so more quantity of air is available, and fuel is supplied from this main venturi tube, right? So there are three stages are available in Carter carburetor: primary venturi, secondary venturi, and main venturi. So purpose of three stage venturi is to get proper mixture so that steady and easy performance of the engine can be done, right? So now next, that is the sudden acceleration. So during the sudden acceleration, more power is available. So more power is available by burning of rich mixture. So rich mixture can be supplied by using this pump, acceleration pump, right? So here there is a acceleration pedal. This is the plunger type pump is used, right? So when the pressure is applied on accelerating pedal, the plunger will move downward, right? So previously stored fuel can be pushed through this passage and directly injected to the venturi tube, right? So additional amount of fuel is supplied by this arrangement. So during the sudden acceleration, more fuel is supplied and we can get rich mixture. Okay, now next, that is the idling condition. So idling condition, there is a additional passage over here that is called idle port. So during the idling condition, the throttle valve is nearly closed. So whatever the suction is created is created in this area. Okay. So suction pressure is created in this area. So the more fuel is supplied from the idle port during this idling period, right? So that is how we can get the rich mixture. Okay, next modern carburetor, that is the SU carburetor. Okay, in previous two carburetor we have seen that there is a constant venturi area, but in SU carburetor the area that can be varied. Here there is a arrangement, so we can get different area, venturi area. Okay, in previous two Solex and Carter carburetor, venturi area is fixed so that the pressure can be varied. But in this case, the venturi area can be varied, so delta P remain constant. Okay, so now let us see the construction of this SU carburetor. Again here in SU carburetor, the float chamber, starting jet, that are as usual, right? Now next, other component of the SU carburetor, that is the variable choke. Here you can see variable choke. At the end of the variable choke, there is a tapered pin is connected here, and variable choke having two sides. The upper side, that is open to suction pressure, and lower side, that is having the atmospheric pressure. Okay, so lower part of the variable choke is connected with this taper pin. So what is the purpose of the taper pin? Okay, so main use of the taper pin is that it will control the amount of fuel supply. Okay, according to the speed of the engine, the delta P varies. Okay, so pressure, according to pressure, suction pressure, this variable choke is move upward or downward. So force applied on the variable choke, that is force equal to pressure into area. So we have two pressure, suction pressure and atmospheric pressure. So force equal to pressure, that is PA minus PE into A. So that much force is applied on the variable choke. So variable choke move upward or downward direction. And the suction pressure, right, upper part of the variable choke is connected to the suction pressure line, and this line is connected near to the engine. Okay, so as the speed of the engine increases, vacuum pressure is more, right? According to the pressure is applied on the variable choke is upward direction. So this passage will now open. So more fuel will supplied. So we can get at the higher speed rich mixture, right? So that is how we can get the rich mixture as the speed of the engine increases. Again, when the speed of the engine decreases, the pressure applied on variable choke, that is downward side. So this variable choke moves downward. So this passage will now close. So fuel supply stops, and that is how we can control the speed. Okay, so that is the working of the SU carburetor. Now we will see next, that is the MPFI system, multi-point fuel injection system. Nowadays, MPFI system, that means multi-point fuel injection system, is used in place of the modern carburetors. So what is the basic requirement of MPFI system? So basic requirement of MPFI system is that there are individual injectors, or we can say one injector is required for one cylinder, right? So per cylinder there is one injector is used. In some cases, the number of injector is used for one cylinder, maybe 2 to 4 according to the requirement of the engine. So MPFI system generally categorized in two forms. First, total body injection type, and second port injection type. Okay, so in port injection type, the injector is provided near the intake of the cylinder, and throttle body, in throttle body the air and fuel both mix up in one body, then after that mixture is transferred to the individual cylinder. So in MPFI system there is a pump used. The function of the pump is to carry the fluid and to pressurize the fuel, and that fuel supplied to the fuel injector, and fuel injector transfer, or we can say inject the fuel into the cylinder, or we can say combustion chamber of the engine. So let us see the working of the MPFI system. In MPFI system there is different sensors are used, and that sensors are connected to the ECU, electric control unit, right? That means MPFI system is controlled by the electric control module, or we can say electric control unit. So number of sensors are provided at different position of the engine, right? Different intakes, exhaust, or we can say in engine, and that sensors are directly connected to the ECU. So different sensors that send the signal to the ECU, and ECU will actuate the solenoid operated fuel injector. So according to the different sensors, according to the condition of the different point, right? The fuel is injected to the cylinder. Let us see the first sensor, that is the inlet air temperature sensors. So the air enters from the atmosphere to the venturi tube, or we can say into the suction line, so that air having some temperature, right? So during the cold starting, if air temperature is less, so that will help to ECU whether it should have to transfer rich mixture or lean mixture. So that is how this sensor works. Next, air volume sensors. So whatever the air enters, so mass flow of the air that can be measured, or we can say volume that can be measured by the air volume sensors. Next sensor, that is the engine speed sensor. So function of the engine speed sensor is to measure the speed of the engine. So that will help ECU to set to control the air fuel ratio. Then next, cooling water outlet temperature. Okay, so cooling water temperature sensors measures the temperature of the cooling water, and again which is used to control the air fuel ratio. Then last, that is the exhaust gas sensors, O2 in exhaust gas sensor, which is used to measure the emissions, right? So all these sensors are directly connected to the ECU. So these sensors send the signal to the ECU, and ECU will operate the fuel injector, right? So rich mixture, lean mixture, that can be supplied by the fuel injector, solenoid operated fuel injector, according to the signal of the ECU. So that is how the multi-point fuel injection system works. Okay, some of the advantage of the MPFI system are like engine requires different air fuel ratio at different operating conditions, like starting, idling, no load, part load, full load, and sudden acceleration. So at different condition of the engine, the different air fuel ratio is required, which is supplied by the MPFI system. And again here in MPFI system, there is no venturi. So airflow is smooth so that we can achieve high volumetric efficiency. Again here starting is very easy, and in multi-cylinder engine, same air fuel ratio will be applied to all cylinder engine by using MPFI system. Okay, and last advantage is that as required air fuel ratio supplied at different conditions, so exhaust emission will be lower and more power is developed. Disadvantage of the MPFI system is that the cost is very high because different sensors are required, which is very costly. Then next, major parts are electronic, so that it cannot be repaired, which increase the cost of maintenance. And next disadvantage, skilled worker and special service equipments required for diagnose and maintenance. And obviously, system is more complicated, which require more care and attention.